All right, so this is the first assignment for Digital Imaging 1, where you basically, it's an exploratory assignment where I'm really just looking for you to play around with the application. But I'm just going to do it here so that you have something to maybe sort of guide you, and then you can kind of go from there. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead, first thing you want to do is open up Photoshop, and then you're going to open up your image, right? So we're going to use one single image, and then we're going to we're going to have the original one. We're going to have the enhanced one where we just try to improve it overall, and then we'll have one where it is creative, where you play around with it and just go nuts. Okay, so first I'm going to do is just open that image. So I'm just going to do File, we'll do Open, and I downloaded because I got an image off my computer or off my phone. Doesn't have to be anything like super special. So I downloaded that picture. Hopefully, there it goes. Okay. So that is a weird resolution. All right. So you can see this is a picture of my daughter. Basically, we told her we were going to go to a water park, and instead we went to her uncle's house, and we just had spray things. Little did she know it was actually we were going to Disney. That was the halfway point to go there. But anyways, I just thought it was funny because I saw this moment, and I was like, this is perfect. She was, as you can see, slightly disappointed. Anyway, first thing we need to do whenever we start a new image is we want to make sure that we crop it, okay? Because you don't want to work anything that you're not already, I don't want to work an area up here if it's going to get cut off anyway. So I'm going to go to the crop tool here, right? C or this. Switch this to width, height, resolution, WH resolution. And we want to do 6 IN. Make sure you put the IN because it will try to do 6 pixels. And then you'll be like, what is going on? And it'll be weird. By 9 IN by 300 pixels per inch, okay? I'm just going to click off so you can see this is what it looks like. Now, if for some reason you can see mine is portrait, yours landscape, you can just click these numbers, or you can type in 9 by 6. Either way, mine is not that way, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like that, and we'll just cut this down a little bit. Generally speaking, you want to, so you can just grab these. Generally speaking, you want to hone in on your subject, and I'm just going to click, and you can move it around as well. So I'm just going to click and kind of go like, we'll say something like that. That looks good. Then I can either hit the, oh, this thing's in the way. Can this move out of the way? Yes. I can either hit the checkbox here, or you can just hit enter and enter. Let's try that again. Enter. There we go. All right. So now this image is officially 6 by 9 by 300 ppi. By default, unless otherwise stated, that's what all of your images should be, whatever you turn in. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to name this one original. And that way I have the original image, and I'm going to duplicate this. We do it a couple different ways. We can right click and go duplicate layer just over top of it, or you can hit Control J or Command J if you're on a Mac. And you probably are on a Mac because anyways, I'm just going to double click on this little name here. Don't just double click on that. It's not going to do anything. I do it. Well, it's going to rip the layer styles. You want to do it on the name, and we'll call this one the enhanced. All right, so this will be our enhanced version. I'm just going to click on the move tool here, just so that I don't have the crop tool on anymore because it's kind of annoying. All right, so then we want to do is I'm just going to zoom in because you can see I'm kind of far away. So there is the magnifying glass. You just click and drag, and you can zoom in and out. You can also just tap, and if you hold Alt and click, it'll go inwards and outwards. I don't suggest doing that just because it's an extra tool. Instead, just get used to doing Control plus and minus, or Command plus and minus, okay? And that works in every app. That'll work in the web browser. That works in most apps. They have that built into it. Okay, and I'm just going to make sure that this is more or less kind of fit to my screen. Looks good. Okay, so from here, what I want to do is just enhance the image, and I'm just going to do a bunch of little things here. So we're just going to go to Image, Adjustment, and you can see here are all of our adjustments, all right? You can choose which ones you like. I'm just going to use some, and then, if you want to do it a little bit differently, feel free. I'm going to do levels, okay? And the way this works is we can adjust it by pulling these sliders. So we say where the darks start, and we say where the whites start. So a lot of times you'll see either have a little bit of a down dip, or you'll have like an up. So you can see this is like goes up randomly, but really you can see like there's just one hot spot. Another neat little tool, this usually doesn't work to be honest, but it's supposed to work. If I select this little eyedropper, I can choose what is the hot spot of the image. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, it should be this. Oh, that's not working. Okay. I'm going to Control plus, and I'm going to say probably the hottest spot is like the brightest spot is probably right here. That's white. So what that's going to do is it's going to use that as my white spot. Hopefully. Didn't seem to do much. Okay. Then I'm going to grab this one and choose where my blacks would be. So I'm just going to look for the darkest part of the picture and use that as a guide. So I think maybe inside of that roll, that's the darkest part. And then there is also a mid-tone. So that's kind of where your mid-tones would be. And I'm going to try to use the darkest part of her skin. And you can see that did not work very well. So we'll leave that one alone. You can also just manually adjust these. And I can just, in general, if I wanted the image to be more like lightish gray, if I pull this, you'll see the blacks will turn gray. And push it back. Or if I do this, it'll make it dark. Okay, so, but generally speaking, you want a full range all the way from black all the way to white. So that looks good, and we will hit OK. All right, so now I adjusted my lights and darks, just so you get an idea. See how now it's a lot deeper, okay? So generally speaking, I want to adjust my values, lights and darks, tints and shades. Next thing I'm going to do is just adjust the color. So I'm just going to go to Image, Adjustments, and then we have a bunch of different options here. So Vibrance is always a really good one. I'm going to come back to that one. Hue saturation, light balance, photo filter, color lookup. Let's do... let's just do vibrance. Do I want? No, we'll do color balance. And what I'm going to do is just shift these left and right. Right now, it's targeting the mid-tones, okay? So if I go like this, you'll see the mid-tones will turn that way. But watch this. If I turn it to shadows, so let's say I wanted to make it like it's a winter scene. I want everything to be cold. You'll see that'll turn on the shadows kind of blue. If I go like that, it'll make them kind of red. So notice like the shadow in here. See how dark that's getting, or how red that's getting? As opposed if I go this way, it'll get kind of blue. Same thing with these. And I'm actually not real happy with that one. We're just going to go ahead and I'm just going to do the vibrance, okay? That's a nice, easy one. Either that or I would do curves. Curves is better too, but actually, let's do curves. Let me do curves. Okay, so curves, the way it works is it's sort of like the light and dark. So you can move these in and out. So you can see as I go this way, my whites start right here. So basically, anything to this value and above will become pure white. So you can see anything that was kind of gray now becomes white. And the same thing in the other way. I can also clamp it this way. So like what I was showing before, where if I want to make it light or dark, so like if I want to make it gray, so they do an X, Y coordinates, not just the up and left and right. Okay, so I can also click in here and then push an area up or down. So this would be adjusting more or less my midtones, making them lighter or darker. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, actually, I will click on that. I'm just going to push this up a little bit just to bring it out a little bit more. Now, you'll see it's RGB, which means it's doing value because it's doing red, green, and blue. If I switch this to red, green, and blue, I can individually adjust those. So I might be like, oh, you know what? This has too much green in it. So I can, or red, sorry. So I can pull the red down. Generally speaking, that's usually not what you want to do. I'm going to take the midtones. I'm actually going to bump those up just a little. That didn't look really, just a little bit. Okay, and then I could take this, and that will kind of shift the shades more into the red as well, right? And then there's green, and the green looks fine. I'm actually going to pump that down just a touch. And then there is blue, and we'll just push that down a little bit too. Okay, like that. All right, we'll hit OK. And then the next one we do is just vibrance adjustments. Vibrance, and what vibrance does is that basically you'll see saturation. Go like this, it makes it super saturated. Go like this, it's going to make it like gray, right? Or actually gray. All right, so we're going to leave that one at 0 to start with. What vibrance does, it does the same thing. It'll saturate the colors. It'll make them more intense, but it targets the midtones, which typically means it's going to target your skin tones. So I'm actually going to take the vibrance and I'm just going to pump that up. So generally, when you are using this, use vibrance first, then use saturation, like if you can't get enough with it. So I'm just going to go a little bit up, and I can toggle this on and off to see what it looks like. And it's super subtle. You can probably barely see it. I'm going to move it up just a little bit more. But it's adding a little bit more redness to her skin. Like it makes it a little more lively. This is particularly useful on people, because usually your subject should be your midtone most of the time, their skin tone anyway. And then we'll hit OK. That looks good. And then I am going to say that is probably fine. So there's other adjustments here, but most of these are almost like filters. They're going to do like weird things like posterize, which isn't something we want to do. that's fine. And we could use the burn and dodge, which are over here. So if you remember, burn will darken an area. Oh, am I on sponge? I am on sponge. Sorry, burn will darken an area. So if you were trying to push something to be a little bit darker in a particular area, so and the dodge will lighten an area, so you can see hopefully. Now, when you do these, you do want to make sure. So right now it's on highlights. If I did midtones, you're going to see it's probably going to do more than it was doing before. But I'm going to say that that's probably good enough. Maybe we'll just lighten this a little bit. Okay. See, that's the face of a child full of joy. That's the kind of joy that Disney gives you. Anyway, so we got that. We're going to say that that's good enough. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to do my creative one. Now, I could just duplicate the original one, or since we already have the enhanced, why not make the creative one out of the enhanced? So I'm just going to select this. I'm going to hit Control J to duplicate, and then we're just going to go ahead and call this one creative. Okay, so this will be our creative version. All right, so we have 3 layers. This will be the creative one. Now this, you can go hog wild, whatever you want to do. That's totally fine by me. What I'm going to do is try to make this more fun. So I'm going to open up another image. I actually just got this puppy. So she's right over here. Her name is Loaf, like bread loaf. And I just want to take her and I want to put her in that. So I'm not going to use any advanced techniques because I just feel like that's going to be confusing. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to just kind of cut her manually. And I'm going to use the magnetic lasso. It's just magnetic lasso. And I just want to cut her head off. And I'm going to replace my child's head with her head. And you can see it's not working super great. Control D. Okay, let's get a little bit closer. Okay. Boom. I'm just going to click as I'm going. So you can see I'll hit backspace. Click, click, backspace, click, click, backspace. It's hard because she's fuzzy. So this is not going to look particularly great. I would honestly do a better job if I were like doing it, but for the purposes of this tutorial, because I'm not looking for you guys don't know some of the things, and I don't want to get into the weeds quite yet. This is just about you guys experimenting with the tools and not the other elements. Oh, there, and boom. Okay. I think I should grab that part too. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that polygonal lasso tool. I'm going to hold shift so it turns into a plus. And I'm just going to manually. Good. And this was a little bit hairy. Good. And so when you hold shift, it adds to the selection. Like so. It's not going to be great. But you can see I have a little extra there. So I hold Alt, it's going to subtract. So I go like that. That takes that out. So this should be a lot better, but you get the idea. Okay, let's just say I did a good job. If you can probably picture it in your head, right? Maybe if you squint and look in the other direction, it looks great. Okay, so we're gonna say that looks good. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit copy, which is Control C, right? So you should memorize these. Control X, which is cut. Control C, which is copy, and Control V, which is paste. Which would be Command X, Command C, and Command V. All right, so I'm just going to do Control C or Command V. Click back on this tab. We have 2 tabs. And then I'm going to hit Control V. And there's her face. Looks great. So what I'm going to do is I want to just transform this. So I'm going to go to my Select tool here. You can, if this might be on for you, which means the transform tools are always on, the free transform, or you can go to Edit, Free Transform, or if you look, you see it says Control T. I usually just do Control T, but just so you know. Now, it will do it proportionally. If I hold Shift, it will do it unproportionately. So generally speaking, you probably want to leave it proportionate. And I am just going to go like this because this puppy is a lot cuter than what she was giving me. We'll go like that. Okay, great. All right. Now what I need to do is I'm going to turn her thing off. I need to get rid of her hair and stuff. You can see see how it's in there? So we're just going to real roughly select this one. And actually, we'll turn that on. And to make the brush bigger or smaller, it's the 2 bracket keys to the right of your P key. You can also do it manually up here. Change the size here if you just click this little thing. But I'm going to use the spot healing brush. If I hold this down, You click and hold, you'll see their spot, remove tool. Oh, remove tool. Let's try that. So we're going to go like that, and hopefully it will remove it. That looks terrible, but we're just going to say that it did a good job, even though it didn't. I just want to get her hair out of there. This might look horrendous, and it does. Did a terrible job. Okay. Yeah, you get the idea. There's ways of making this better. I just don't want to. We'll just do it this way. Let's do patch tool, and we're just gonna go like this, like that. A little better. I would spend a lot more time on this. Imagine I did a good job. Okay, we'll just grab a bit of skin here. Oof, that's rough. That's rough. Oh god. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the spot healing tool because I feel like that did a better job. So actually, we'll undo that. So we're gonna Control D, clear selection, and I'm just gonna manually go like this to remove hair strands, and it will just not work. Control plus plus plus. So there we go, and okay. Now it just looks like she got scratched or something by a bunch of chickens or something. Yeah, okay. Imagine I did a good job, right? And I spent a lot of time making that look good. You get the idea. Okay, so that looks fine. I'm actually going to go on this one, and let's just use the eraser tool. It's just like the worst way of doing it ever, but I'm just going to kind of erase out so it's a little bit fuzzier on the edges, so it'll blend a little bit better. That's not quite what I was hoping for. Oh, that's why the flow's really low. Okay. Just wanted it to be... You get the idea. She's a beautiful puppy. Okay, so that looks fine. So now you can see I added that part. And if you want to add parts, you can just slap them on kind of like that and then just do the best you can with it. Normally we wouldn't want to do this, but I'm just going to combine these two. So I'm just going to right click and I am going to merge down. So I just right click on the layer above and go merge down. And what that does is just going to combine the two into a single layer. If you have a bunch, you can just grab two at a time and then right click and merge layers and then, merge layers, and that'll merge them down. I'm just going to put them all in the one, even though normally I wouldn't do that, but I just want to make it so it's simple and you guys only have the 3 layers here. Another thing that would be fun is let's just throw a filter on this just to make it fun. So just go to the filters and you're going to see there are all sorts of filters here. Okay, so try playing around with like the render ones. So they got flames, right? So let's do flame. I need path. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Let's see what else we got there. Render. We got clouds, difference clouds, lens flares. Maybe you want to let it. Maybe you want to be like Michael Bay and add a lens flare. You got to make sure that it's this one because that's the Michael Bay one. And let's just make it brighter, right? And then let's put it there. Good. That's a Michael Bay lens flare for sure. Okay, so we could do that, and then we could do some of these stylized ones you might find fun. So maybe we want to do something like this. So let's select just her, and then from that we will select other stuff. So I'm going to go to I don't want to do it the fancy way. We're going to go select, and we'll just once again do magnetic lasso. I'm just going to go around. Imagine I did a good job. I don't want to. There's a lot of other ways that do these selections a lot better, just so you're aware. Like, it won't always be this sloppy. I just don't want to go into, like, quick mask mode and stuff with you guys quite yet. Okay, because we're going to have a whole lesson just based on. And then I'm just going to double-click, and now I have her selected, but I actually want not her selected. I want to leave her alone, but have everything else have an effect. So what I'm going to do is go to select, and I'm going to go inverse, right? So now it's everything but her is selected. Then I'm going to go filter, stylize, and then there's all sorts of different ones here. So we could do pixelate. Let's try mosaic. I don't really like that. Filter. Just try a bunch of these, and you'll find them. Distort, that's fun. Actually, let's do distort, and we're gonna do twirl. And it's not really showing me yet, so we got to back this up. Okay, that was too much. Sometimes it previews down here, sometimes it previews above. So we're just going to go like that. So it's like she's in a black hole. And then we'll do, we'll just turn these ones off so you don't see underneath. Hang on. Filter, twirl again. Not sure why I'm getting pieces. Well, whatever. Then we'll just do another filter, and we'll do stylize, and I'm just going to do oil paint. And then let's zoom out. Oh, it's giving me previews for both, so I can adjust the stylize. Let's make this not very cleanly. Up the scale. There we go, and we'll do the lighting up in the left. There we go. Okay, and then, you know, from there, I can just, I'm just going to clear my selection. You can hit Control-D or Command-D or do deselect, and that will undo your selection. From there, I'm just going to use the paintbrush, and I'm just going to go ahead and let's just do this, and I am going to take my opacity, which is the transparency. So if you look at this, see it's 100%. I'm just going to take it, and we're just going to make it much lower, and I'm just going to actually, let's make it more than that because I can't quite see it. It's going to make it like she's crying because she's a big baby. Right? Imagine, yeah. This is my greatest piece of artwork ever. Okay, so that's my daughter. She's going to love this. I'm going to print it out for her and give it to her. Okay. But really with the creative one, what I want you to do more than anything else. So in the enhanced one, all you have to do, so first make the 3 layers or make the 1 layer, then make the enhanced one. All you really have to do is just go to image adjustments and just try the different adjustments and see which ones work for you. When you're happy with those, you go, yay, then switch to the creative. And really the creative one, just go hog wild. You can go ahead and use some of the adjustments here as well. So because you can see there's ones where there's like threshold's not going to be very good, inverse not very good. You do a gradient map one, which can be kind of fun. So they have these different, let's see, purples. Let's do like this one, right? They got one that's got 3. Yeah, you could do, these are a little bit too much. But you can also go to filters and just try out these different filters. There's all sorts of different ones. Really, the whole point of this is just for you guys to experiment. You can't do too much. You can do too little. I'm not going to give you a bad grade as long as I see that you did a lot. So if I see something and it is just an absolute mess in here for your creative one, that's an A. Because I just want to see that you just tried a bunch of stuff. Okay? Obviously trying to make it look good. But I'm not looking for you to be like making, you know, it's the first day. The whole point is to just want you to try it, play around with it, get a feel for it. That's all I'm really looking for. So just make sure you do this. I also want everything to be done completely and correctly. If you run into any problems, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you later. Actually, I should mention this too. When you are done, what you can do is just save this. So what you want to do is just save it. Sorry, I had to look up to see how I wanted you to save it because I couldn't remember. So what you want to do is just do File, Save As. You're just going to save it as a PSD. That's the default. And you want to save it as your last name. So mine would be Cone _ assignment01. Okay? But it would be your last name. And then assignment01, you're going to hit save. Now, imagine I hit save. Then you're going to go on to Blackboard, or not Blackboard, sorry. You're going to go on to Canvas. So go to the course. So Digital Imaging 1, courses, where are you? Digital Imaging 1. Then you're going to go to, can you get to assignments? Oh, you can, okay. But if you just go to modules, because that's where you should be finding everything, you'll see the assignment here. You're just going to click on that. You're going to go here, be like, yeah, I want to submit something, which, hang on, I got to click on student view. Not now. Okay, thanks. You're going to go in here, and then you're going to submit your assignment here. So, let me see. Apparently I forgot to turn on submission. So What you're going to do is just scroll down and you'll see you can upload. So you can just, or you can drag the file directly onto it. So you just, I would just click on upload, navigate to where you, oh, maybe I got to click here. Sorry. Click on that, navigate to where you saved the file, and then hit submit assignment. Okay. So you should actually have two things that you're submitting, not just this file, not just your image. You also have to submit your project cover sheet. Notice that that is on every assignment, that project cover sheet. So make sure the project cover sheet is also submitted. And that would be it. All right. So good luck, and we will see you next time.